So we were talking last time about the Deuteronomistic historian and their interpretation of the events that befell Israel, a very special interpretation that would make it possible for Israel to remain intact after the destruction of the state, the temple, and the national basis of their society. And according to the Deuteronomist, it's the sin of idolatry, specifically the sin of idolatry, and particularly the idolatry of the king, for which the nation is punished with exile and destruction. Punishments come for other sorts of sins, but the national punishment of exile and destruction follows upon the idolatry, and particularly the idolatry of the king. So in the book of 2 Kings, a king who permits sacrifice only at the Jerusalem temple is praised no matter what other faults he may or may not have. And one who does not is condemned, no matter what other accomplishments he may have to his credit. Now, the Deuteronomistic historian is aware that the historical record doesn't lend itself very easily to this kind of interpretation, because there are some good kings who reigned very briefly, and there are some very bad kings, on their view, who reigned for a very long time. Manasseh is a case in point. He reigned for over 50 years and is viewed as the most wicked of all kings. Sometimes disaster would strike right after the rule of a king that the Deuteronomists would view as a good king because of their faithfulness to Yahweh, and sometimes it would not strike after the rule of a king that was viewed to be very wicked. So the Deuteronomist sounds the theme of deferred punishment. So for example, Solomon's misdeeds in allowing the building of altars for the worship of foreign gods to please his many wives, his foreign wives, is blamed for the division of the kingdoms, but the punishment was deferred until after his death and the time of his sons. And then you have the split between north and south, with Jeroboam and Rehoboam reigning respectively in the north and south. The Deuteronomist sees Israel's defeat at the hands of the Assyrians in 722 as deferred or delayed punishment for the sins of Jeroboam I. Jeroboam I, 922 or so, came to the throne and installed two cultic centers at Dan and Bethel, erecting golden calves. This is seen as a sin for which the nation was punished 200 years later. As for the southern kingdom of Judah, you had some good kings in the view of the Deuteronomist in the south. Hezekiah, he's judged to be a good king. He instituted sweeping reforms and got rid of idolatrous altars and managed to maintain Judah's independence against the Assyrians. But his son, Manasseh, who reigned for a large part of the 7th century, is viewed as extraordinarily wicked. He turned the Jerusalem temple into a pagan temple, and it was a time of great misery for those who were loyal to Yahweh, a time of great terror. And yet he reigned a long time. His 8-year-old grandson, Josiah, came to the throne upon his death, sometime probably in the 630s. And the Deuteronomist views Josiah as a good king. We've already heard about, or the story which is reported in 2 Kings chapter 22, of the refurbishing of the temple, which happens when he's about 25 or 26 years old, discovers a book of the law, reads it, and is distressed because its terms are not being fulfilled. And so Josiah orders the abolition of outlying altars and pagan cults. He brings all of the priests to Jerusalem and centralizes all worship there in Jerusalem. So in the Deuteronomist view, Josiah is believed to be a very good king for purging the country of these idolatrous rites and centralizing worship. But the sin of Manasseh was too great, and it had to be punished. So a prophetess named Huldah, tells Josiah that God plans to bring evil punishment on Judah for these sins, but it will be after Josiah's lifetime, as something of a mercy to him.